Hello everyone, welcome back to Skill Builds for Borderlands 3 with GED. Today we are doing Mr. Zane, the operative, and we are doing his blue tree. Oh man, this guy, he's gonna be a beast when the game releases. So let's just get right into it. I'm dubbing this one the Hit Me Man. So we got his drone, the Sentinel drone. It just sends out your automated drone to do machine gun damage for 24 seconds, but has quite a long cooldown of 60 seconds. This thing is amazing though. I'd say it's probably one of the better pets in the game right now from what we can tell. The first line, violent speed, kill skill. After killing an enemy, Zane gains increased movement. So, you're running like the devil. Cold Bore, Zane gains increased weapon swap speed and his next swap deals bonus cryo damage. So, cryo's okay. I mean, if you like cryo damage, it's alright for slowing down your enemies while you're moving faster. Violent momentum. Zane's gun damage is increased while moving. The quicker you move, the greater the bonus. Guys, the only one in this tree that you need to start with is violent momentum. At early game, the extra damage, oh man, you're running around, you're doing tons of buku damage. We get his first augment, Winter's Drone, converts Sentinel's primary weapons to cryo damage. So it reduces the actual damage, but it makes them freeze and, eventually lock down enemies. It's okay, you can take it, for the start, but we're going to be replacing it. Cool Hand. Zane gains increased reload speed. After killing an enemy, his reload is increased further. So you're swapping out those, mags super fast. Drone delivery. Sentinel will occasionally drop a free grenade. Free grenades, 1 point. You gotta max it. Salvation. Kill skill. After killing an enemy, Zane gains lifesteal. Early game, we don't need it right away because lifesteal is not really super important early game. I would say do the weapon swap up to 4 points just to get down to the next tier. Bad dose. Sentinel occasionally shoots out a beam of radiation that weakens enemies and buffs Zane. Now if you look at the weakened and the buffs, you get fire rate and movement speed. What did we take in the first row? Movement speed buff for damage. So, we want to definitely plop that into our augment. We only have 1 point of row here. Death follows close. All of Zane's kill skills gain increased effect and duration of 7-second duration and 25% buff. That makes all your kill skills, like everything in this tree, absolutely amazing because it's just like the key linchpin of this entire tree. Yeah. We have another static field augment. Sentinel emits a static field that sends a shock beam to enemies, draining shields and replenishing yours. I would say this is better than the cryo augment. You can temporarily replace this, but we're going to be swapping this out shortly. Now you still have to use 4 points to get down to the next row, so I would go back here and you can either do Salvation, which will give you lifesteal. Again, it's only middle of the game, you don't really need it that much. Or you can get more movement speed to hopefully buff this even further, because you're getting movement speed here, you're getting movement speed from your drain augment, you're using it to buff your violent momentum, and just stay maximum buffed, right? We got our next augment in the 4th row here, Boomsday. Adds a rocket pod to your drone. Rocket pod, we love it. We want to keep the turtle for the movement speed and fire rate and damage, and then we want to swap out that shield replacement with a rocket pod, because rockets are amazing. We have 2 skills in this row. Violent Violence, kill skill. After killing an enemy, you gain increased fire rate. Or Playing Dirty, kill skill. After killing an enemy, you have next 5 shots have a chance to shoot an extra projectile. I would say max this one all the way, because fire rate trumps chance for extra bullets every day of the week. Like if you're pumping out more bullets, it doesn't matter if you have a chance to shoot an extra projectile, you're shooting more bullets. And then, of course, you have extra reload to buff it on top. So you're swapping out, shooting, swapping out, shooting, swapping out, shooting, run like a crazy man. Almighty Ordnance is our last augment. Hold down the button to paint an area and fire missiles. I've seen this in gameplay and I am not impressed with it. It is very, very slow because your drone has to fly over to the area. It is very, very low area, a very tiny area. No, I would say this is pretty much garbage because people are going to avoid it and you're going to miss it a lot of the times. Going down to our 5th row. Good Misfortune, kill skill. Killing an enemy increases Zane's action skill duration. So your drone is out longer, guys. Max it all the way. Now we have to drop 2 points before we get down to our final tier. So I would go back up here and I would get a little bit of lifesteal, because a little bit of lifesteal is going to help you in endgame, which you're kind of approaching here, and it's going to just generally keep you alive more. Then we're down to Seeing Red. Activating an action skill automatically activates all of your kill skills in this tree, which are buffed to last longer. You're running crazy, you're reloading fast, you're shooting max bullets. Your drone is dropping bombs and buffing you and debuffing the enemy. Oh man, Hitman Tree is just so good for Zane. And now we come to our impasse point where we have 22 points left over. What are we going to do, guys? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back and we're going to flesh out all of our remaining skills which need to be maxed out. That leaves us with 17 points. So now we got 5 out of 5 in all of our major hitman buffs, because you're primarily a hitman in this build and you want those kill skills maximum buffed all the time. Then we're going to go to the green tree. We're going to select our barrier. Now, you could have selected barrier from the start. I forgot to add it in. But yes, during the entire gameplay of the leveling up process, you would have had barrier equipped, or the clone. But that's totally up to you. For the most part, though, you're going to be using barrier in the later part of this game because you want to survive while your drone's out doing damage while you're doing damage. First row, Adrenaline. Zane gains additional action skill cooldown rate, so that means all of your action skills can be out more. Hardy Stock. Zane gains increased maximum shield capacity, saving you personally. Ready for Action. Zane gains improved shield recharge rate and recharge delay. What would I max? Of course, action skill cooldown, because the drone has a 60-second cooldown and the shield that you deploy has a 24-second cooldown. By buffing this, you're just keeping yourself alive by creating barriers to protect you and your allies. First Augment. Whenever Zane or an ally touches the barrier, they gain increased movement speed and reload speed. Movement speed, reload speed, the two things that we maxed in our previous tree, yes, we want that. Definitely, all the way. Brain Freeze in the second row. Whenever Zane scores a critical hit, there's a chance they will be slowed. I'm not super impressed by chances to slow enemies, but your mileage may vary. Stiff Upper Lip. Whenever Zane is damaged, he gains damage resistance. So if you're hit multiple times by the same source of damage, you are resistant to it. Rise to the Occasion. Zane gains health regeneration. The lower his shield, the higher the bonus. So if you lose your shield, you gain some regeneration. What I would say here in this tier is I would actually go with 3 points in damage resistance from, any source. And then I would drop 2 points in regeneration just to keep your health up, to keep you running around, gunning, and killing fools. Third row we have our next augment. Nanites or some shite. Zane and his allies gain health regeneration and increases reload speed. So, we're going to go ahead and say yes for now, because reload speed and health regeneration will again keep you alive and gunning. Confident Competence, the only one in this row. While Zane's shields are active, he gains increased gun damage and accuracy. That's not bad. You have a shield up, you gain accuracy and gun damage. What's not to love? Up to 20%. Yeah, just get it. We have another augment over here. Zane's barrier becomes a dome covering all sides. Now, if you're playing with a group or you have trouble hiding behind a dome, if you're one of those players that has trouble hiding behind a dome, I would say throw this in. A dome is not bad, but it does raise the cooldown rate of this ability. We now have 6 points and 4 points before we get to the next tier. So we're going to have to go back up and choose one of these three to augment. I'm going to say get your hardy stock to boost your own personal shields. You're approaching late game and you're going to need a little bit of survivability with Zane. You have your shield, you have your personal shields. This will help you stay alive with health. This will help you stay alive with health. It's all about survival here because you're the hit me man build. We have one more point to drop. Your personal choice. I mean, you can drop it here or here. I would say drop it into the cryo rounds just for that 4% slow chance. It's the thing, you know. All right, we're finally down to the 4th row in the green tree. We have retaliation. Zane and allies near the barrier gain increased gun damage. Personally, I would say swap this out for your slot 2 because it's not bad. 10% gun damage just for being near your barrier. You're dealing out tons of damage now at this point. Only 2 points left. We have really expensive jacket. Elemental status effects applied to Zane have reduced duration. This is going to drop off all those elemental effects almost immediately. I would say get a point in it. Best serve cold, kill skill. Whenever you kill an enemy, they create a cryonova. I'm not impressed with this. Most of the time, enemies aren't standing next to each other or in the immediate area of each other. It does really weak damage. It's just meant there to CC enemies if they're like kind of bunched up. If you're playing in a group, it might be better because your teammates might be able to group them, or if you have singularity grenades, it might help you out a little bit. And then the last one here, we have futility belt. Zane gains resistant to non-elemental damage. So all non-elemental damage you take is reduced by 15%. Super good, super helpful. This entire tree is keeping you going, keeping you maxed out. Zane does not have a revive like the other characters do, so he's meant to stay alive through this tree. And the last one is a shock augment that just shocks enemies that run through it, but enemies don't run through it that often, so I don't like that skill. This is the build, guys. You are doing, again, you're running super fast, you're getting buffed, you're getting reload speed, you're stealing some health to keep yourself alive, you're also regenerating health, your drone's out there buffing and shooting missiles, your kill skills are active all the time, you got more regeneration, you got more slow, you got just speed and reload and damage out the wazoo. You're just blowing fools up with the Hit Me Man build. Tell me what you thought, and I will see you in the game.